I have the great pleasure of having Art and John and Isadora here tonight, and they've all been in the gallery before. Art has read here. I can't even count on my fingers how many times you've read for us, Art, and he always just brings a wonderful, wonderful performance art to his words. And Isadora will be playing the violin and the mandolin. And a little background on Isadora: she just graduated from Grand Junction High School, and she was in the chamber orchestra there. She was section leader, and she's an award-winning musician in a chamber orchestra that has been recognized, what is the finest high school, yeah, so anyway, Isadora, I just might. And she brings a nice feminine touch to these two guys, which is, you know, always needed. And Art, who's always talking about the goddess, is going to be on stage with the goddess herself. So I'm really happy. Anyway, those of you who don't know Art Goodtimes, he is a wonderful local celebrity. He's the poet laureate for Colorado, is that right?
Western Slope.
Western Slope. And he's also county commissioner in Norwood, right? And you're running for 5th term. You've done it 4 terms and
16 years now.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So you're a lifelong politician.
I am. Part of the problem.
Oh. Well, we need politicians, more politicians like Art, who can also read and write poetry. Anyway, I am so happy to introduce you, John. And you're going to be reading for us first, am I right? And John teaches at Mesa University, which most of you all know. He's also the author of 2 books, Hooking the Sun, and what's the other one? The Last Matinee that you just read here from. Yeah. And I'm going to give up the stage to you, John, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
We're going to play a little intro here. This is from Lorena McKennitt. If you have heard it before.
Journey to Sand Canyon. The surprise of rain, white streaks in the air, finds me on the road. Lava plain, point of departure. An evil antenna faces a dead cottonwood. Speed disturbed by aircraft. Christ sells real estate in the New West, while trucks haul trusses before the water runs dry. I drink up the Uncompahgre Plateau, enter Red Rock, the desert's blood, valley of the ancient river, risen, departed, now resurrected in the gray clouds' benediction. Unaweep's seat, the rocks will cry, lost gold, lost gold. The wail of the Old West, the river of sorrows runs red with the sun's storm. Sacred women adore the cliffs with dragon heads, turquoise eyes and lightning, sudden flick of electric snake's tongue on Mesa. lone cone wrapped in rain, half gray, half blue, the duality of mountain souls. Dolores River Canyon, a honeycomb of rock, swallows, bats, round spheres of life and death, Utes on billboards, Utes in cars, dark somber face, cowboy hat tipped back. He embraces Ute Mountain, female mountain, bringing rain and the sweet smell of wet sage and red earth. What state are you from, comes the official question. Ute Mountain, the proud answer returns. And on the trail, the goddess face in Vulva Cave gazes upon ancient cities, while thunder cracks and a gentle rain waters the eternal cedars of Sand Canyon.
All right.
A few apologies. First of all, as many of you know, I've been talking about this a lot. So some strange evil insect bit me in Arizona, and I had this weird infection. So I'm on like antibiotics and Benadryl and steroid cream, and so if I'm a little like, you know, I'm also missing the days when I was younger and the drugs I did were more interesting. The other apology is, so we're doing, Chris, if you saw us in December, if you saw Dora and I in December, we're doing somewhat the same gig, but we're at least we're putting in some different poems, some of the same poems, but a lot of different poems, and we're mixing in a few different things. So just some of this may sound familiar though if you saw us back in December. Okay, next poem is The Place with Only the Sound of Insects. In the beginning, the first people arrived at a city that already stood bright and clean in the jungle-tinged sun. Never touched by human hands, its pyramids and pillars, wide plazas and narrow stone-set streets, all freshly painted white, ready for murals of warriors and kings, of gods named for days, demanding offerings of blood and burning copal. Now that city lies tangled in trunk and vine, the place with only the sound of insects. Jaguars prowl across its stones, dust fills the altars, deer slide like shadows through empty streets, great black beetles crawl across limestone blocks, the wind scatters leaves along a temple wall. And yet, a new sun is coming, and at its dawn, our current world will dissolve like heated wax, except for the first city, which will emerge pure and white from the green forest, ready for a new race to come and walk its pristine streets and sacrifice to gods reborn. Okay. Change of instrumentation. We're going to do two poems, kind of one running into the next. And the first one is called Christmas Eve on US 66. Roar of the Santa Fe crossing juniper plains, thrum of silver and crimson freight diesels rising and falling like an ocean. Feel it vibrate the earth, shake your hips, ashes of something gone. No more neon, no more radio rattling Dexter Gordon to the cold Flagstaff streets, where an old stone church casts golden light on the new snow. To the north, at Walpi, the men emerge from a kiva, eagle tufts in their hair, carrying pine boughs and corn husks. Matrons wrapped in red shawls and Pendleton blankets stride in sedate pairs, while children run ahead, all moving toward the plaza, the center, as the sun sets over the San Francisco peaks, blue in the fire plane distance. Orion rises in its spiral progress, and we all celebrate light's return, affirming the eternal solstice beneath the shifting forms. Origin in depth. From a cave at the canyon's floor, the Hopi emerged into the fourth world. Masao, the handsome one, deity of death in the underworld, greeted them at the dawn of the Sun Father's new creation. I am the guardian of this realm, he proclaimed, and ordered them to make 4 migrations to the north, east, south, and west. A great cross with the Grand Canyon at its center. Then the Hopi clans climbed up from 2-billion-year-old Vishnu's schist, passing through successive layers of shale and sandstone to reach the rim. Kaibab limestone formed 2.5 million centuries ago. There, my daughters stand at Yavapai Point, seeing the canyon for their first time. It has recently snowed and clouds play among the cliffs. Shadows ripple beneath the quarter moon, and a white sun teases out brief rainbows over the red umber Tower of Ra. I have told the girls the myth of the Hopi emergence, and they speak to each other of lines of Indians ascending from those unsolved depths. But I imagine instead my mother, old woman of Belarusian stock, who once gazed out from where her granddaughters now stand, not long before she died, wanting to see the Grand Canyon before leaving this world for the next sphere. In her is my origin in deep time, a small village on the Lesna River, making its way to the Baltic Sea, from where her father migrated west, so that his great-granddaughters could stand and see the place where the Hopi arose to hail Masao and their new world. Okay, another change of instrument.
Right.